Hey everyone, Eggman here with another video. And today we're going to talk about the new rebooted Son Goku from the Zenkai Star deck that's releasing next month with the rest of the Zenkai mechanic with all the Z stuff, Z energy. You guys know what it is by now, but this is one of my favorite leaders of all time. This is the leader I made my first Dragon Ball Super card game video for, so really near and dear to my heart, and it's been a lot of fun to play test and stuff. So we're going to just go over some of the cards for you guys, then we're going to have an example deck list at the end as well. But starting off with this Son Goku, just says activate main once per turn. Look at the top 10 cards from the top of your deck, add up to one yellow earthling only card with any cost of 1, or one yellow Unison with specified cost of 1, and amend them to your hand, then shuffle your deck. So being able to do this like on turn 1 when you can attack and get a free +1 is quite nice. And then also awaken when you have 4 or less life, or you have 1 or more yellow cards in play with Bulma or Yamcha in their name. You may draw 1, switches up to 1 of your energy to active mode, then add cards from your life to your hand. You have 6 life or less, or sorry, just 6 life to it. So, and then on the backside, we do have this uncontrollable Great Ape Son Goku returns. So it does have choose one of your opponent's cards, switch it to rest mode. When this card attacks, choose all of your opponent's non-energy, switch into rest mode, and choose one, which also means it gets Unisons and I guess extra field cards, I guess too. And then also draw 1, and I guess leader too, if for the rare blocker leader, which do exist. But draw 1 card or add up to 1 yellow Great Ape Son Goku childhood card from your deck to your hand, then shuffle your deck, which is quite nice, especially since sometimes you just need to find that for your Z awakening stuff, as we'll explain later. And also activate battle once per turn, only on your turn. I know I've screwed this up before by using it on both turns, but use up to 1 mono yellow earthing card with 5k combo power from your drop area and a combo with the skills negated for the battle, which just means that after that battle, it should be going to your Z energy, which is quite nice. And this is a Son Goku Childhood Saiyan Great Ape, and it can go into our new Z Awakened leader, the Son Goku Growing Up Fast, which does have this 20k crit. It is Z Awakened for 1 yellow. When your life is at 3 or less, and you send 1 Great Ape Son Goku Childhood card from your drop area to your warp, which is nice that you can search that through the deck if you want to, if you need one for your Z Awakening, essentially. And then it's a 20k, which is good. And then also auto once per turn, choose one of your cards, switch to rest mode. When this card attacks, play up to 1 yellow Bulma card with any cost of 1 from your hand or drop. And then also activate battle once per turn, place 1 of your Z energy in its owner's drop area. And then remove 1 Son Goku childhood card from your drop area from the game. This card gets plus 10k power and double strike for the battle, and then at the end remove this card from the game. So you can get like this extra boost either on offense or defense, which is usually quite nice. That is, it's quite flexible, but also just being able to get your leader double strike for still essentially 1 energy, because you just have to Z Awaken and go up to it from there. And it's a double strike crit 30k essentially for 1 is very, very powerful. It's a very strong effect. It just means you don't have to run Champas in your list anymore too, which is nice. And it's just a it's very powerful, especially since you can get Awaken at 3 with this. I think there's a lot of good with this Goku leader here. So some battle cards that we also get in just Unisons too. So we do have the Bulma Stalwart Adventurer. So this is a really good Unison if you're able to get it to live past turn 1, which is not too uncommon for it. Just permanent if your leader card is a yellow Son Goku childhood card. Yellow non-Great Ape Son Goku childhood cards in your battle, you get plus 5k. So this is on both players' turn, which is nice. It doesn't work when you are the Z Awakened leader too. And also I forgot to mention, this does have the World Tournament tag, which you do have to be kind of particularly like getting down to 3 life to get into this guy, but there are some kind of cute things you can do with this if you want to do it. But yeah, this Bulma, you do have to be awakened too, but you can awaken with this into this whenever you just have the Bulma out anyways. But I normally don't like to awaken on turn 1 though, just because I do like to if your opponent's going to swing into you, you want the damage to be free because you're going down to 6 anyways when you awaken. So it just means like your opponent's attacks don't do anything if you awaken like turn 2, which is kind of nice. Anyways, we do have this, and then also -1 of your opponent's attacks, which is card to activate when it gets blocker for the turn. So being able to get a blocker Unison is not too bad. Doesn't matter, it's just a 1k because usually Unisons are a little bit trickier to interact with, and it just means like you can have like 1 extra blocker if needed for like an attack and stuff. So I do like this Unison. You just have to kind of defend it hard turn 2 to make sure it lives, but then after it lives, it just gets a million markers and your opponent's going to have a bad time. But the +2 on this, being able to play a free Son Goku childhood card, is quite nice. It can't be this guy though. This is a 4 cost, but I think for a good reason. It is unique barrier dual attack. If your opponent has 2 or more energy, reduce the skill cost of evolved skills on your yellow Son Goku childhood cards in your hand by 2 energy, 1 yellow, 1 colors. If their card names don't match the names of any cards in your battle area. And activate main limit 1 for 1 yellow. Switch up to switch one of your battle cards or Unisons, both yellow, and with Bulma and this card's name to rest mode, play this card from your hand. So being able to do that for 1 is good, and then it becomes a 15k dual attacker with barrier, which is really, really good for our leader and stuff. So being able to use that to, use the effects of this, and this can just like pressure one of your opponent's Unisons down pretty good, or something like that. It's very strong. And lastly, we have Yamcha, which also has barrier. Like, I don't know why this entire deck has barrier, but it does, and I'm not going to complain about it. But when this card is played, look top 5 cards of your deck, add up to 1 Son Goku Childhood or 1 Bulma, both yellow, or 1 yellow Unison, specify cost of 1 from among them, and then shuffle your deck, and then limit 1 if your leader card is a yellow Z leader or yellow Son Goku Childhood card. When this card is switched to rest mode by one of your leader skills, switch this card to active mode, then choose up to 1 of your yellow Son Goku Childhood cards in rest mode that has an attack this turn, and switch to active mode if you do draw 1. This just means that it restands essentially when you try to tap it down for your leader's effects, which is good enough for, though we do get better cards down the line to just do that for us anyways. Being able to, like, this second effect, like, I've never done it, and I don't, you'd have to like aim for it, pretty tricky to do it, and like it's just for a draw 1, so I've really never had a reason for it. But these are the new cards for the deck. I think a lot of them are quite good and fit really well for the archetype, which is nice. And then going into our example deck real quick, and let me hit this big old save button. So we're doing a little bit of work there. There we go. All right. There are some proxies just because DBS Deck Planet, like these cards are still just announced, so they're not in the deck list yet. But this is, let me make sure. Let me sort by energy. Yeah, a little high. This Aandroidd 16 is Yamcha, so we're running 4 Yamchas. This 4-drop Goku Childhood is this 4-drop Goku Childhood, as well as this 1-drop Unison is this 1-drop Unison. So nothing too crazy. Obviously, we're running 4 of the Z leader as well. That guy's really good. There's just no way to do it in this right now, but they're working on it. I know there's going to be updated pretty soon. So anyways, going through it, we have 6 Bulmas, which are just 1-drop Earthlings. It's crazy just how good, like, this is just immediately just better than this one, which is really funny. It has literally all of the same skill text and everything, and then just has like an additional effect for it, so it's just good. Planet Vegeta is such a good card in this deck, just because it lets you search for pretty much any of the Gokus that you need for your deck on turn 1. Like, this is the best turn 1 play. You play it, you find the Gokus you need, and then you can just constantly rest it with your leader skill here, because it doesn't specify a battle card, just says a card, which technically means it can be an energy if you're just need it to be an energy to get all the rest. But it's just very, very good for what we're doing. So being able to do this, and then there's like a fringe case where it can't help there, which is kind of nice. But it is good there. We also do have the power of a Super Saiyan, because we're not playing a bad deck. Yamcha, we've talked about, there's a lot of targets for this guy. And I mean, even just having like a 1-drop that gets the value, and then your opponent's going to have to grind to get rid of, and you can just combo with it later to put in your Z energy, is quite nice. Instant Kamehameha is fantastic, and shoutouts to Richard Zapp for showing me this card. I don't think this was intentionally meant to work with this guy, but it did get released like the set before this card came out, so it's who knows, but it's counter if your leader card has yellow. If your leader card has Son Goku in its character name and it's attacking, switch one of your leader cards to active mode, and it gets plus 5k power, and its skills negated for the turn. And then also you can play it for Spirit Boost 3 if you want to. But so kind of how this works is that, let's say you swing with this big Goku boy. You swing with it, they negate the attack. This card does not negate the attack. It just lets you restand your leader. But you get your draw 1, or you get your Goku ape to hand or whatever. And then you get to restand it. It's a 20k. And then you can just swing with it again. But before you swing that, you can just Z-Awaken into here. And since it's a Z-Awaken, as far as we know right now, is treated as a new leader card, it only keeps the power buffs for it. So it becomes a 25k crit still. It can still do all of its effects. The skill negation doesn't work after you Z-Awaken on this guy, and you can swing again, and it's very good. So, and just the fact that you can do, the Awaken timing is either main or battle, just means like if you swing with this leader and they don't negate it, you can just obviously Z-Awaken during the battle, go into this, and still have your 30k plus double strike, which is nice. This, even like if this is better here, because you can do the 5k combo and you can go into it. So getting 2 shots at that for either 1 energy or essentially free energy is great, especially since you get to essentially immediately recur it, because you get to draw another card off the Z leader draw. So with the Bulma, which is quite nice. So a lot of this is good. I think Instant Kamehameha is fantastic in this list. We're still playing we're still playing 3-drop counter cooler, because we're not bad players, but that is another kind of thing to kind of trick your opponent We also do have the Great Ape Son Goku Saiyan Instincts. We're almost never using the 2 from drop effect. It's more of this. This is just conveniently a Son Goku childhood card, which just means that we can pay 2, or not pay 2, but we can just combo it for free to get into our drop area and then use it for our leader's Z Awaken skill. To get into that, so that is quite nice. We do have this 2-drop Son Goku, which is like as old as cooler. It's a very old one, but blocker 5k. This card's KO. Choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards, switch it to rest mode, then choose up to 1 yellow Son Goku childhood card from your hand with any cost 3 and play it, which just means that this older boy, even older, so this is fantastic. Blocker barrier. When this card, when you play this card, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards in rest mode and KO that card. At the end of your turn, switch this card to active mode. So not only does this like get the same thing as a blocker barrier, which already in like set 3 was absurd for how good he is, but he gets to switch to active mode at the end of the turn, which means that if you do have this Bulma up, it just becomes a 15k blocker barrier that you can then swing with, and then you get to restand with it, and it's still a blocker. It's just such a good card in this archetype. This, you definitely want to run this guy. If you like this guy, if you think he's cute, you can go for him too, but definitely run this Explosive Spirit Son Goku. Even just playing it for free off your Bulma to be able to pop something and then also just get a 15k swing for essentially free and keep your blocker barrier up is very good. Krillin's good. We know that it's a good card. We've got Frieza's Army Reinforcements. We also know that's good. Cooler we've talked about. SS Son Goku Final Sacrifice is just a good counter for the deck, especially if we need to switch something to rest mode on our opponents. Like, it's just good disruption, and it's not really costing us anything, so that's good. This, again, is the 4-drop Kid Ku, which I think is, like, paying it for 1 and getting a 15k dual attacker is already kind of good, especially since it has barrier. And it's just in the archetype and makes sense for what the thing's doing, so I don't think that's bad. And it can lead into our Rampaging Great Ape Son Goku. So again, another old card, but we are loving to see it. It evolves for 2 with the new Kid Ku, so that's kind of nice. It's a critical blocker and then also stuns one of their energy on the turn that it comes out until the end of your opponent's turn. So it's some of like the energy stun just means they don't get to untap during their untap step, but like this just says like it just can't be switched to active mode until the start of our next turn, which means a lot of things get around that. Don't get around that, so it's quite nice. And then if you also just have Planet Vegeta out too, you just get to restand at the end of your turn, right? Because it's just yeah, it's just the 4 less. It's just for our Finding Your Battle card. But since this is a Great Ape and it has blocker, which is nice, you can just go into it and then swing with it a 25k crit, and then after that you get to restand it and just you get to unramp your opponent in energy, which is quite nice. We also have Bergamo because we do a lot of resting, especially with their leader, so if we get to get this off, it makes sense to do it. We can do it. This is like the best yellow secret rare in the game right now, so why would we not run it? The 1-drops are the Bulmas, which we've talked about a lot today, and then also the Super Saiyan 2 Son Gohan, just because, again, we're playing a Unison kind of archetype. This is just such a good card, especially since you can additionally make it difficult for opponent to do any damage to us, because we can make it a 25k a base with the 20k off the Z Awaken leader, and then adding another 5 on top of that. It just means like your opponent has to like commit like 10k off a 15 off their leader just to put threaten damage, which just is really good, especially since we have to be low early to get down to 3 life to do our Z Awakening stuff. This Gohan can just be fantastic for what we're doing, and it becomes a blocker, getting triple attack with it, get some damage in, and like we switch stuff to rest mode, so when it plays, it almost always pops something as well. So I like this guy. He's very, very good. Just some other cards just to talk about real quick while we're here. So we do have Chi-Chi. This is a 1-drop Earthling, so you can find this off your leader as well. It's barrier, draws 1, which is nice. If you don't like Yamcha in this build, just play Chi-Chi instead. There are some archetypes, specifically blue, that you're able to interact with that. This is just another Bulma. If you need something to just rest something for 1 when you play it, you can. I don't think you need it with this leader, but it's just a card that exists. I don't remember. Okay, this is jank. I'm even gonna say it. But if you have like your big 5-drop out, they swing, you can block with it. And then if we have a Great Ape in your battle, you can activate this card, activate battle without paying its energy cost, and then choose up to one of your mono yellow cards. It gets plus 10k power for the battle, and if your opponent turn, choose up to 1 Great Ape. And so it just means that you can get a 35k blocker, and then you can restand it and it can block again. That's all it does. It's fine. It's not great, but it's fine. We also do have the Krillin Battle of the Tree, so you get to, it's a blocker if you have a field card out, which we mostly will, and then if you don't have a field card from your hand, when you display, activate 1 yellow field card from your drop area. So if you want to be like super cheesy, you can play this Bulma turn 1, awaken with it, turn 1 you play it, and then like turn 2, use the 1 yellow energy. You pitch a planet Vegeta, and then you play a Krillin for 1, and it plays the planet for free, which gets your planet stuff. It's not good. It's just a 1-drop yellow earth thing I want to talk about. Those are the Tin Shinhan and Chiaotzu. This one's fine. Switch this card to rest mode when an opponent uses a skill to play a battle card with any cost greater than their current energy. You can choose it and switch to rest mode, which means it gets around deflect, but does not get around barrier. But that's just something that could be like a good like one of in the deck if there's something that like it just hard counters, which is nice. And then there's more world tournament stuff. We just want to talk about these two because again, this leader does turn into a world tournament leader on the Z Awaken. I don't know how cheesy it is to add cards into it, but you still get this 15k Goku with barrier that you can just free play off your Bulma too, which is nice. But choose one of your unyielding Jackie Chuns in your battle. Switch to rest mode if your leader card is a yellow world tournament. For the duration of the turn, this card gets plus 5k power, double strike, and triple attack, which is kind of nice, which means that off the unyielding victory Jackie Chun, you have to play this on like turn 4 and hope they don't have like a God Sealing Trunks. And if they don't, at the end of your turn, it's a blocker barrier. And at the end of your return, choose up to 1 unyielding victory Son Goku in your battle area. KO it. Choose up to 1. Choose this card and one of your energies switch into active mode. So it just means like you can play this for free. And then like late game, if you want to go into Jackie Chun, you can, which is kind of nice. And then if you don't want to, you can't. But like it's fine. It's a 20k, and then if you have the Bulma still out, it becomes a 25k double strike triple attack, which is quite good if you want to try and end the game. It's probably cheesy, but someone's probably going to do it. They're probably going to have a good time, and maybe it's good, but I don't think it's good enough to run compared to something just more generic for what the archetype does. But this is my list. Obviously, this is a starting for just the list. For from a Zenkai standpoint, I think this is great for if you guys want to just learn and get comfortable with Zenkai in general. I think this is going to be updated in the future when we have more cards from BT18. I think there's just going to be more to check from there. This is such a good card, man. I'm just still looking at it, and it just works so well with this leader. But I think there are some kind of things to look forward to in the set for this deck too, but I did want to just get a list out for you guys if you want to play it. But that's going to be it for us. I hope you guys are excited as excited as I am for this guy. If you want me to do another kind of synopsis on another reboot list and make another one, it's probably going to be Gotenks, but man, that Gotenks kind of builds itself. It's super good. So if you want that, let me know. I can build it, and that's going to be it for me. So thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it, and I'll catch you all next time.
Damn it. Damn it.